Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Author Boy. I don't know what the hell that was. What's going on, y'all? Um, Another episode slash video. We'll put this up on the YouTubes, along with the audio platform, Spotify, etc. So, if you catch it, you gonna catch it. Let's get into business. So the NBA is coming to a close, right? I can tell you now. So last year? It could have been last year. It could have been the year before that. I'm pretty sure the year before that. I was watching every game. I was watching Orlando versus the goddamn Timberwolves. I'm watching Detroit versus the goddamn Dong Tigers. I'm watching everything. This year, not so much, right? NBA has been fairly boring. They're coming up with a lot of gimmicks, a lot of BS. They're going around the problem. I think Adam Silver know where his bread is buttered. So he's a very athlete friendly type of guy, right? So we've had a lot of load management issues. Um, a lot of guys just sitting out. For instance, we've had players, excuse me, that were just bought out, don't have to do nothing. They're chilling, get 30 million, 20 million. Ben Simmons sitting for the rest of the year. He really ain't played the whole year. It's just a whole lot of that, right? 4 games left in the season, and the standings, uh, specifically in the Western Conference, I'm gonna need some help. Are we at the point where, and actually, I'm gonna speak on the whole league. I want to kind of somewhat center it toward the Western Conference, but I want to talk about the whole thing all at the same time. Are we at the point is do we have true parity or just do we have trash? This is what I mean. The Western Conference, pretty much. I mean, let's go over the records, right? If you start at the 5 seed, I'm gonna tell you what the 3 seed is. The 3 seed is the Kings, who lost last night, and they lost against Dallas. So the Kings are 48 and 32 as the 3 seed, right? The 4 seed is the Suns at 44 and 35. The 5 seeds, the Clippers, that won last night. They beat the Lakers. We're gonna discuss that. They're 42 and 38. The Warriors is after that at 42 and 38. And let me let you know that the Warriors away score is 9 and 30. Again, not away score. Their away record is 9 and 30. The Warriors are 9 and 30 on the road. Let me give you something else on the road. The Nuggets, who are the number 1 seed at 52 and 27, is 19 and 20 on the road. The Grizzlies, who are number 2 at 50 and 30 right now, is 15 and 24 while being 35 and 6 at home. The Nuggets 33 and 7 at home. We got a big pattern here. The Kings are 25 and 15 on the road, but 23 and 17 at home. Sacramento has a fantastic home base, but they're 23 and 17 at home. The Suns, 17 and 23 at home. The Clippers, and I'm sorry, not at home, away. The Clippers, 20 and 20. The Warriors, their overall record, 42 and 38, just like the Clippers. Away standing, their away record, 9 and 30. The Lakers are 41 and 39. Again, they lost to the Clippers last night. We're going to discuss that even more. They are 20 and 21 on the road. The Pelicans are 41 and 39. Somehow the Lakers and the Pelicans have the same fucking record. The Pelicans lost like 15 straight. Somehow these people have the same record. The Pelicans are 15 and 25 on the road. So after that, you have the Timberwolves at 40 and 40. That's the 9 seed. The Thunder at 38 and 42. That's the 10 seed. The Mavericks at 38 and 42. That's the 11 seed. This is pretty much our playoff and play-in window, right? Somebody's gonna be left out between the Timberwolves, Thunder, and the Mavericks, and it just might be the Mavericks. I don't know how the Timberwolves tank, not the tank, Timberwolves, the Thunder. I don't know how they're gonna tank. They lost three straight. I don't know if they want to play in the play in. If I was them, I would play in the play in because how many more fucking draft picks do you actually need? Why don't you give some of these young guys a little bit of experience, maybe get to the play in, or maybe fight to get to the play in? But I think we could be a little bit past that point. Now, let's discuss the Clippers and the Lakers. Right. So last night the Clippers beat the Lakers, and the stat that was kind of I caught the end of the game. By the end of the game, I caught like the last 5 minutes. The game was already over. And the statistic that stood out to me was that the Clippers are 11-0 against the Lakers. Since Kawhi and Paul George have been there. Let me say that again. The Clippers are 11-0 against the Lakers since Kawhi and Paul George has been there, and LeBron. The whole thing, right? And this brings me back into the time machine. They're 11-0. These are all regular season games. They haven't played in the playoffs yet. Was the bubble the Clippers' window for a championship? Was the bubble year? Was that the time for the Clippers to actually win the championship? If the Lakers have not been able to get a game off of them in any regular season matchup, not a game. Let me tell you this. I don't like the Lakers. But the Lakers have LeBron James, the clear number one, and they have Anthony Davis, the probably the best number two that you're gonna get. He's number one without that dog. He's the best number two that you're probably gonna get in the league. I don't think there's another number two that is more talented than Anthony Davis. Offhand, I cannot think of anything. Maybe um um Man, because I'm looking at the Nuggets, I already know they don't have nobody except Jokic. I'm looking at the Grizzlies. John Morant, the second best player is what? Desmond Bain. The Kings, the second best player is probably Sabonis. Suns, the second best player is Booker. Booker's fantastic. Booker's not Anthony Davis, especially rebounding defense. It's just a high level. Clippers, Paul George. I don't think he's better than Anthony Davis. The Warriors, Clay Thompson. I don't. Clay Thompson's not better than Anthony Davis. So you get my drift here. They have the best 1-2 combination in the league because if you put Anthony Davis on most of these teams, he would be the best player on that team. Now, would he be the number one? I don't know, but he would probably be the best player on just about any team that you put him on. Right? The Clippers in the bubble season, 2020. The Clippers famously lost to Dallas. Was that Dallas? I believe they lost to. I think they either lost to Dallas or they lost to Dallas. And they missed the opportunity to face the Lakers. Everybody was waiting on this LA matchup. LeBron was calling for it. He even kind of teased it after that. This is what everybody was waiting on. They was waiting on them to get past and to see if they can actually make it. And they was going. Oh my God! I just dropped everything. Uh, they was going to possibly see if the Clippers could meet them in the Western Conference Finals, so they can figure it out. We all know this. We all know the dude. 11-0 to me is very significant. As I patch everything together, I just fucking knocked down uh the entire desk. I just fucking supermarket sweeped it. I apologize. And I feel like this Western Conference, I named off the standings. I ran everything off. I feel like this Western Conference is going to be the most confusing fucking thing of all time. And I think that matchups, they're very important in every series, but matchups are going to be just. Is there even a matchup in the Western Conference? Nobody can win on the road. Let's go to the Eastern Conference. away. So let me show you the Eastern Conference away. Bucks 26-14, Celtics 25-16, 76ers 23-16. Now the Cavs are 19-21 at the 4 seed. So they're under 500. The Knicks 24-16. The Nets 22-19. These are the top 6 seeds. And not and one of them is 2 games below 500 as far as their away record. I have a theory. Said all that to I have a theory. Is the all right, so for instance, the Nets, Kevin Durant wanted out, Kyrie wanted out. So in turn, Dallas and Phoenix pretty much sent all of their best role players to the Nets. And these role players, and Nets already had fantastic role players. Let me tell you what, the Nets were like the number fucking one, a 2 seed. I think they were at least a 2 seed when Kyrie decided to quit, and in turn, Kevin Durant decided to quit and go elsewhere. It was a 2 seed. They were winning. It was a fucking 2 seed. Durant pulled them out of the hole. Is this quote unquote parity we're seeing? Is this the result of teams having to trade their superstars for for better or the best role players? For instance, let's say the Jazz. The Jazz surprised everybody a lot at the beginning of the season. They started to take a little bit, but they surprised a lot of people at the beginning of the season because it was very tough. Laura Markkinen was playing fantastic. He was playing fantastic the entire year, but they also have had good role players. They have Malik Beasley, and they got all these role players from the Rudy Gobert trade, right? So they got Laurie Markkinen from Utah trading Donovan Mitchell. This is what I'm saying. People are trading superstars and getting very good role players. But what that leaves the other superstars with, because the superstars are paired up, that leaves them with the next tier of role players and everything below. So they're not getting the S tier and the A tier role players. They're getting the B's and the C's and the D's. You may get one or two. But again, the Nets have Seth Curry. They have Mikal Bridges. They have Cam Thomas. He's young, but he's a hooper. Claxton. Um, who else is the Nets have on their team? Seth Curry is a S to A tier role player. Mikal Bridges is definitely an S tier role player. Finney Smith, Darius Finney Smith, he's a S tier role player. Let's go to the fucking Nets. What's going on? Is this is this quote unquote parity that we have in the NBA of, and I'm looking at the away record to give me that notion. I don't know why I looked at the away record to give me that notion, but it feels like a losing away. I would say away. It is away. I'm saying like fucking a Wembley. A losing away record to me means that these are not real teams. These are not great teams. Great teams win on the road. Great teams are not going fucking 9-30. Now the Warriors are the 60. They're 9-30. The Nuggets is a number one seed. They're 19-20 on the road. The Grizzlies are 15-24. Great teams don't do this, right? So we know what the Nuggets situation is. They have Jokic and they have role players. Jamal Murray is I would say an A tier role player. Um, Gordon this year has been an A tier role player. Everybody else is C and under. The Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have suffered a lot of injuries. Brandon Cook, who's their backup center, is out for the rest of the year. He's probably been out the last 10 or 12 games. Steven Adams, who is the number one rebounder, who was the leading offensive rebounder in the league, who, if you look at their numbers, when he's not on the court, when he's on the court, they're like number two in rebounding in the league. When he's off the court, They're fucking second to last in rebounding. Steven Adams is an S tier role player. He plays fantastic defense as well. He screens, he does everything. He does the intangibles as well. He's an S tier role player. Desmond Bain, S tier role player. Dylan Brooks, not S tier. He's probably B or C level role player. Tyus Jones has been an A tier, S to A tier role player. The Kings, they have the same. Their away record is 15-25. Again, the Grizzlies, they've had injuries. John Morant was out. John Morant was hurt earlier. There's just a lot of stuff going on. Um, but at home, 35-6 to 15-25 in a way. That's just fucking huge. I mean, I really don't get that too much at all. The Suns. We see what the Suns have to go through because again, they just traded all it. What's the other guy? Cam Johnson. They got rid of Cam Johnson. He was a great role player for them as well, the Phoenix Suns. So we just have a shit ton of the best role players either being put on teams by themselves, like the Nets are, or they're being put on a team with just one superstar. And that team usually middles out, etc. They really don't typically excel. Yoke is just the outlier because he's great everywhere. He passes, he scores. He's a pass first guy, so he gets everybody involved. The Clippers, the Clippers traded. Not well. The Clippers is actually able to retain not even B tier, C tier role players. Reggie Jackson, C tier. Marcus Morris, Nick Batum. These are all C tier role players. And they have to do this because they have Kawhi and Paul George. Again, the two superstar thing kills the actual role players. The Warriors a little bit of the same. Warriors been dealing a lot of injuries. Steph's been out most of the year. Everything rolls off of Steph, but they've played no defense. And again, they're 9-30 on the road. Lakers, a lot of the same. Quick sidebar. Um, LeBron has been what's the word? He's been pegged as the player that can play with anybody, right? He can play with anybody and and either go to the playoffs or go to the finals. Right. And for the Lakers, besides 1 year, that has been correct. In his previous years, especially in the second run in Cleveland, that's very correct. Miami didn't. I don't remember Miami doing a lot of in-season trades in January. Maybe some off-season acquisitions. I remember when they got Ray Allen in, or they got Shane Battier and different things like that, right? And to get Ray Allen at that point, he's an S tier fucking role plays. Ray Allen, right? LeBron can play with anybody because he has played with every fucking body, right? So every season since 2015, a team makes acquisitions on behalf of LeBron, and in mid-season, they trade these fucking acquisitions. They bring in five guys. Four of these guys are going. This just a fact. They bring in six guys. 4 or 5 of them are going by the off season. This is every single year. This is the Lakers this year. This is them last year. This was Russell. They got rid of Russell. Um, what's the guy they sent to? Thomas Bryant. At least 4 or 5 players was traded mid-season and shit. And then some people come back. For instance, Schroeder was gone. Now Schroeder is back. They bought in not Kevin. I was about to call him Kevin Dunn, like this wrestling. Kendrick Nunn didn't work out at all. Um, um, who else is there now? D'Angelo Russell is there now. Vanderbilt is there now. Beasley is there now. All of these guys are just being brought in. Like I said, it seems like it's 5 to 6 players, new players a year LeBron plays with. So on one hand, the chemistry he's able to put together and win games, this is mostly a Cleveland thing, is incredible. to even bring in 5 new players and be able to win with them instantly. Remember the year, half the season they got all the Lakers guys. The Lakers gave Cleveland all their guys. Remember they had Larry Nance and they had was that Jordan Clarkson? Um, who else they fucking got? They got somebody else from the Lakers that year. Damn, I can't remember who else they got from Lakers that year. But y'all know what I mean. If you think back to the Anthony Davis trade, they gave up Lonzo, they gave up Ingram. Um, they wind up giving up Kuzma the very next year to bring all these other role players in. I believe Kuzma was going to get paid. They didn't want to pay Kuzma. And who else did we get from them? Josh. My God, he's with the Knicks now. Josh Hart. I got a little big bubble brain for it there. So it, I really don't understand. So either we about to get a fantastic playoff that we have no idea what's going to happen. I think the Lakers are going to come out of the West because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? You seen the free throws that they get the last 8 games. Every fucking game, they put up more free throws than the opposite team. Whether they lose or not, they're having 15 to 20 more free throws a game. It's obvious the Lakers are definitely gonna get to the playoffs. And at the very least, they're probably gonna win the playoffs. I think they're gonna actually win the playoffs. This is so disappointing and sad for me to say. But I want to ask y'all: is it parity? And I try to explain this parity. These superstars get traded for every single role player and draft picks just to get these away records that we have here. If you look at the East, there's a lot more stability in the East. Look at Giannis. Here's Drew Holiday. Here's Chris Middleton. Brook Lopez has turned himself into an A-tier role player. There's other people who are B, C level, but they play hard. The Celtics, they got their 2 dogs, but they got their 2 dogs from them trading their superstars for these draft picks. They traded, remember, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. That's what Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown turned into. And since they were draft picks, the Celtics were able to build proper role players around them because the first 3, 4 fucking years, you ain't even got to pay them. You're not paying them max money. The 76ers. Now, the 76ers was able to do some old time collusion and get James Harden over there. Because how else was the 76 was able to get James Harden without them giving up everything? So they made the Nets give up everything. The Nets gave up everything to get him, and they gave up everything to get rid of him. And as we see with the Nets, we see what they're left with. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Now the Cleveland Cavaliers, again, they were drafting. So this is how they got Mobley. They also made some good trades, bringing in Jared Allen. Again, how did Jared Allen and how did Levert get that? Mostly Jared Allen. Levert has been he's a backup, but Jared Allen again, S tier role player. How did these guys get there? From superstars being traded, and what did Cleveland do in turn as well? They traded their role players and some draft capital for Donovan Mitchell for one guy, right? So what I'm starting to see here, and I'm starting to get. I don't want to talk about the Knicks. Knicks is they're the damn Knicks. I don't really care about the Knicks. But what I'm starting to see here, I'm starting to learn, and it just might be the title of this episode, of this video, is do you really need 2 superstars to win? I don't even remember who won the finals last year. The Warriors. One superstar with S tier role players. Klay Thompson is an S tier role player. Draymond Green is an I'll call him an S tier role player. Um, the Bucks. Drew Holiday, S tier role player. Chris Middleton, S tier role player. One superstar. The Celtics, again, I don't think Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum are the same level. I think Jason Tatum is a little bit higher on the level. I think he's a superstar. But I do think Jalen Brown is a star player for sure. Draft capital, it's a little different. They were able to bring in again. What's the guy from the Spurs they brought in? Derek White. He's played fantastic. They basically got him as at a steal of a price. The Spurs just wanted to send him to a good team. Horford, it is what it is. Blake Griffin, it is what it is. They know their roles. Robert Williams, Marcus Smart. These are S tier and A tier role players. Marcus Smart is an S tier guy. He's fucking defensive player of the year. Talked about the Cavaliers. We're not talking about the Knicks. Um, so is the two superstar era over? We have the Bucks with one superstar. Again, the Celtics, one superstar, but Jalen Brown is he's at the cusp of being a superstar. The 76ers did a lot of finagling to get James Harden without really doing much. They already had Embiid. James Harden is not a superstar. He hasn't been playing like a super duper star. He hasn't been playing like James Harden. Joel Embiid is definitely a super fucking duper star. But they have A tier, B tier role players, mostly B. And let's go back to the West. Nuggets, number one seed, one superstar. Grizzlies, one superstar. The Kings, two stars, good role players. The Suns, who had one superstar. Chris Paul is not a superstar; he's a star player. Um, Devin Booker is a superstar player. I'm just talking talent here. I'm talking high tier talent. Devin Booker was a superstar on the team. They went to the finals, and then they went deep in the playoffs 2 years in a row with just one superstar. Right now, they got Kevin Durant, and again, they traded all their role players. So we see how much capital they have. We see how long they can last in the long run. The Clippers have been average. Two superstars, C tier role players. They have Reggie. They have Powell's been playing well this year, very well. I think he's probably going to be sixth man of the year, but I think he's maybe started too many games because guys have been hurt. Uh, but he was a candidate for sixth player of the year. Definitely going to be a candidate. I don't know if he's going to be eligible because again, I think he started too many games along quickly. But I think he started too many games because too many guys been injured. Fucking low management, Kawhi and Paul George. But again, Clippers very average. Two superstars. They have no capital. They're just bringing in random role players. Zubac. What's the white cat? Luke Kennard they had. He's gone now. Damn, who else? Who else they had? I said Nick Batum. Terrence Mann. These are just these are humans. These are regular guys. These guys ain't mutants. Warriors again, one superstar. The Lakers, two superstars. They had three at one point. But again, when you have those three, everybody else, low tier, B, C tier, role players. The Pelicans had a superstar. I wouldn't call Ingram a star either. I would call him an S tier role player. Because if I call Drew Holiday that, I have to call Brandon Ingram that. I would also say CJ McCollum is a B tier role player, but you got enough young draft capital to where you have enough cap space. They could have did something. They didn't. We won't get into that. I'm getting angry just thinking about it. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy the third. Um, what's this cat? Valanciunas has been average, but Herb Jones and Trey Murphy third. These are B tier young players. These like second and third year B tier role players. Herb Jones' defense might make him an A tier role player because he's playing great defense right now. Trey Murphy can score right now. They may be A tier, but I'm gonna leave him at B because Pelicans are a fucking 8 seed. The Timberwolves again. The Timberwolves gave up a lot of draft picks, a lot of capital, a lot of role players to bring in Rudy Gobert. Carlton Anthony Towns, this is gonna shock you, surprise. Carlton Anthony Towns has been out like 51 games. I had no idea he's been out that long. He's just coming back. He was out 51 games. Anthony, he's been injured. I think the last maybe 7 or 8 games he could be back. But I know he was injured very recently. And again, the Thunder, they have nothing. The Mavericks, I kind of want to discuss because I did discuss Dorian Finney-Smith being sent to the Lakers. So the Mavericks gave up their best role players. They let Jalen Brunson go without re-signing him last year. At the beginning of the year or last year, and they traded Dorian Finney-Smith, and also who else they traded? I think they traded two best role players to bring in Kyrie Irving. Again, another superstar. It's just two superstar team that can't play defense and they have no role players. The third best player on their team is probably Tim Hardaway Jr. or maybe Josh Green. These are C tier role players. So my question, the title of this video is the two superstar and audio. Is the two superstar era over? We've seen nothing from it. We see somewhat exciting regular season games, somewhat exciting regular season games. And this year hasn't been exciting. We can look at the records. Everybody's fucking losing to everybody. There's no dominance. Everybody's losing to anybody. Even the Nuggets at 52-27 again, away record 19-20, and they just lost to the Rockets by 20. Is the two superstar era over? Is it time to just find you a superstar and build good to great players around them? Where are we in the NBA? What do y'all think? Y'all let me know. Twitter, YouTube comments, what y'all think? I think it's over. I think that the assets that are just randomly dispersed throughout the NBA, especially on the Nets, dog. Anybody, bro, Mikal Bridges can go on a team right now and start on any, bro. Let me go back to the standings. He can start on the Nuggets. He can start on the Grizzlies. He can start on the Kings. He was starting on the Suns. He can start with the Clippers, the Warriors. Nick Claxton. If he can't start as the five on all these teams, the Nuggets, they'll put him at the four. He's gonna start. Seth Curry, if he's not starting, he's the first guy off the bench. Dorian Finney-Smith, if he ain't starting, matter of fact, he gonna start. But if he not, you got to first of all, it's gonna have to be a stacked team, and he's gonna be the first one off the bench. I think it's up. I think the jig is up, and I think it's time finally because we've seen these guys come together. It don't work. They're bringing each other to say they're friends, quote unquote friends, and it don't work. James Harden, I don't know if he was friends with Dwight Howard, but it damn sure ain't worked. They hated each other. He was friends with Russell Westbrook. By the end, it damn sure ain't worked. He was friends with Chris Paul. It goddamn sure ain't worked. Anthony Davis, they snuck out in the thief of the night, then colluded to get him to the Lakers. 100% colluded to get him to the Lakers. He wasn't even clapping or standing or excited when LeBron passed the scoring record. I don't care what happened or what he say or what was going on. We've seen the videos. The entire arena was standing up looking at LeBron. The entire arena. Everybody knew what was going on in that fucking arena. And he didn't care. I think in another year or two, we see that breakup. Paul George and Kawhi. How long are we gonna get out of them? What's the other one? The Suns. Now the Suns at least have Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Not Chris Paul. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. At least for another 2 or 3 years. What else do they have? They have Aiton. They have Chris Paul. I would consider them. I would consider Aiton a B tier role player. Same with Chris Paul. in the grand scheme of the team. What else do they have? Is that going to show in the playoffs? I'm sure it'll show in the playoffs. But I think the two superstar era is over. The Lakers have proved that the three superstar era definitely don't work. The Bulls have proved that three stars don't even work. Where are we going in the NBA? It's been a lot of gimmicks, a lot of play, mid-season tournaments, play-in tournaments, a lot of BS. Where's the NBA going next? They can make more money than they can spend. That's obvious. They're paying guys 40, 50 million, 30 million to not even play. So they definitely got money to burn. As far as competition, as far as excitement, where does the NBA go next? I think the era is over. Let's fucking pray it's over. It's been like 10 years. Jesus Christ. Holla at your boy.